Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much for assisting in creation such an impressive community, and hope this initiative will be developed towards real partnership and real well supported initiative, because really this initiative is very important for the one of the main objectives of our part of the world, for the Europe, means to achieve the climate neutrality until 2050. What I would like to present you, it's a little bit as an insight, short insight on the Horizon Europe structure and objectives, as well as presentation of the proposition towards synergy community in the cluster for in the pillar 2 of Horizon Europe. This presentation is shared in two parts, as you said. The first one is belongs to me, and second one will be, and I will be followed by Mr. Maciej Kiełmiński, who is Polish delegate to Cluster 5 Program Committee, means Energy, Mobility and Climate. And I will show you insight on the Horizon Europe, and next on Cluster 4 objectives. Next, Mr. Kiełmiński will continue with Cluster 5 and more insight on policy issues. So let me start with the Horizon Europe and Horizon Europe structure. Here you can, I hope, well-known diagram with three pillars of Horizon Europe and horizontal actions related to widening of participation. The first pillar is more or less practically the same as it was in under Horizon 2020, means the pillar is composed of European Research Council, Maria Skłodowska actions and research and infrastructures, means horizontal issue that are aiming at increasing excellence science or increase research potential of Europe. Pillar 3 also deals with is focused on horizontal issue and is aiming at supporting innovation applications, and the most important part of that is the European Innovation Council, where two instruments are planned, means EIC Pathfinder. It's a kind of follow-up of Fuel and Emerging Technologies program that was in Pillar 1 of Horizon Europe, and second part, and is aiming at supporting the research at early stage, means between 2 and say 4 or 5 technology readiness level. And next, EIC accelerator that is designed to support development of technologies in medium and small and medium-sized enterprises. So starting since the technology readiness level 6 to say 8. And also in this pillar we have support to European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and with their key with their knowledge and innovation communities. And most Pillar 2 is divided in 6 clusters plus support to Joint Research Center. These 6 clusters are thematic areas of Horizon Europe. What is important, the budget of Horizon Europe is planned for over 95 billion euros, and over nearly 60% of that is addressed to global challenges part. Within this part, we have two clusters, two biggest clusters, digital industry and space, and climate, energy and mobility, each of them with the budget planned for 15 billion euros. And here you can find topics related to sun energy objectives, but not only these two clusters, because remember that over 35% of budget of Horizon Europe should be targeted to climate neutrality objectives. So really, we can expect a huge amount of money for initiatives related to climate, for initiatives related to SUNERGY objectives. And as concern instruments, in spite of three areas, means European Research Area grants, Maria Skłodowska-Curie actions, and EIC accelerator, where single units may apply, a single organization. Most of the program will be implemented through collaborative research under either research and innovation actions or innovation actions. These two type of actions will have, as in previous program, scientific objectives and supporting actions, CSAs, without scientific objectives, but providing solutions or providing kind of input to European policy objectives. So most of the actions will be EA or research and innovation actions, and some of them, and also several coordinating actions. And for whom? As usually, for all kind of legal entities within European countries, associated countries. We had under Horizon Europe 12 and or even more, and they will be listed in special amendments, and also for third countries. But keep in mind that a part of third countries will be not allowed for European funding, so they should provide own funds to participate in European projects. But generally, this is civil open program. And we are just now at the last stage of preparing first calls for Horizon Europe. Means the first work program will be will cover 2 years, 2021 and 2022, and first calls will be published practically in 1 month, with first deadlines in June, July. So we are waiting for official publication, and a lot of elements of this content of documents that are under preparation were shown by Joanna in the previous presentation. So thank you, Joanna. We are not allowed to show as much as you can, as you shown. Anyway, I will try to say you something about how to what will be the way of application, what will be the main points of successful actions. First of all, at the previous slide I have shown you that there was the phase of planning called strategic plan. strategic plan for, first of all, second pillar. Within the strategic plan, 4 key strategic orientation were defined. It has been defined, and the key strategic orientation C, making Europe the first digital-enabled, circular, climate-neutral, and sustainable economy, matches a lot with objectives of SUNERGY initiative. And this orientation is related with several so-called impact areas that are listed here, and basing on these impact areas in a particular for particular clusters were defined expected impacts. For cluster 4, climate neutrality related impact is leadership in industrial value chains, while for cluster 5, more such expected impacts were defined. You can see them in the right part of this screen. So starting from climate objectives through energy supply and use, through the issues related to transport. And in all these actions, the input related to clean energy is necessary. Okay, how this impacts, how these objectives are reflected in this most important part, means in the program. We have 2 kinds of priorities. First is our industrial priorities for cluster 4. It's integration of renewables and electrification in process industry, because with this objective is related very much the redesign of processes in order to use renewable energy, which is not so stable. The supply of this energy is not so stable as conventional energy. Next, reduction of fossil carbon, use of fossil carbon, which is related also to much wider use of hydrogen in technologies, and also technologies for energy storage and conversion, starting from batteries, but also through chemical forms of energy storage, means solar fuels. And second part, second objective is the symbiosis, is industrial symbiosis, and industrial urban symbiosis means is to keep the streams of material and streams of media closed as possible in relatively limited industrial territorial areas. So we have such priorities for industry, and as concerned the materials, we have topics. We'll have the topics related to hydrogen storage, to supercapacitor energy storage, as well as also material technologies that allow more effective, for instance, energy conversions, means new materials for electronics. And the third point is also planned open innovation test beds for climate neutral materials. Open innovation test beds, it's a relatively new idea that has been developed for 2 or 3 years just now. It's a kind of service points for small and medium-sized enterprises, first of all for medium SMEs, that where this enterprises may got support for developing their technologies, and also will have the physical basis, testing environments for development and verification the technologies. So it's a nice idea. Several such ATBs has been already established and they successfully operate, and we'll have new action this time for climate neutral and circular materials. And the most important, I think, topic for the SUNERGY community, it's the CSA is planned for creation and support to community for solar fuels and chemicals, and one of the objectives of these topics is support to the community, as well as to build by the community long-term roadmap towards solar fuels and chemicals. So thank you for your attention as concerns the industrial part of and the material part of the cluster 4. Please contact me or my colleague Małgorzata Kapica. And now let me turn the presentation to Mr. Maciej Kiełmiński, who will continue with cluster 5 objectives and also some policy issues. Thank you very much.